In this video, Sharon Euler, a science teacher, and Charlene Bird, an English teacher, planned an interdisciplinary project based on their curriculum. In Miss Euler's class, the students were learning about forensic science, which built on previous knowledge, the human anatomy. In Miss Bird's class, the students were learning about Shakespeare's classic, Julius Caesar.
And decide right now, before we do this lesson, where do you think you would place yourself? Could you write a summary of how Julius Caesar died using the correct terminology? I believe it says anatomical and physical terminology. Could you use the correct terms instead of just saying he was stabbed 23 times?
So I'll read through them for you, and that might help you a little bit. If you're a 4, which is an A before you ever start this activity, students can explain using anatomical and physical terminology to others how his Senate and friends killed Julius Caesar. If you're a 3, which is close to a B, using anatomical and physical terminology, students can summarize how Julius Caesar was killed. If you're a 2, approximately C range, students can explain using some anatomical terminology with help from peers, and you do have some peers around now to help, and your teacher, how Julius Caesar was killed. And number 1, D level right now, this is before we start. Even with help, students have difficulty explaining this concept. We're not going to do any zeros or F's, so everybody's going to be a minimum of a D right now. Decide where you are, circle your number before we ever start this activity. I've given you a little flat picture of a human body. Caesar was stabbed 23 times. So you're going to take your pen or pencil and you're going to make 23 marks on this body. And then we'll go from there and see if you have any luck.
So you're going to stab your paper doll 23 times. Pretend you're the Senate, you're stabbing Caesar.
So make
little slash
23
marks on your
marks.
person. Do not use the highlighters yet.
And the teacher showed them with an overhead the different body systems and how they're protected. For example, the lungs being protected by the rib cage.
Here? Yeah, that's on an angle that can kill him. Or if it's on his stomach and it's like right in his...
The next portion, the teacher asked the students to generate an argument for their hypothesis and work in groups and talk about it as to where the fatal wound was located from their original marks on their paper. Finally, in conclusion, the students summarized their processes by writing it in a paragraph. They then re-rated themselves on their scale.
Diagram. I just wanted to show, so what did you do here?
I just stabbed the diagram 23 times, and then we had to go and he had to pick where we thought it would be most lethal, where they could probably die from that stab wound or how, and I picked the ones by the neck and by the abdomen.
So originally you had it all over the place.
Yes.
Because you weren't sure at first that where it would be. You kind of put it all over the place, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. And so how many times was Caesar stabbed?
He was stabbed 23 times.
And based on the evidence from the article, from what angle was he stabbed?
Well, he was stabbed at like a 45-degree angle in some places, and it cut it very easily because there's no bones or any structure built around that.
So originally you put all of those all over the place, but then after all the studying that you did, you narrowed it down to
The throat.
The neck region and the abdomen area.
Yes.
That's really after all the studying that you did. That's interesting.